Okay, roll call. Ms. Bourne,
Here.
Mr. Coolman,
Here.
Ms. McCurney,
Here.
Mr. McCarthy,
Here.
Mr. Smith,
Here.
Mr. Van Hoosen,
Here.
Mr. Weber.
Here. Thank you. Please stand at your equal and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Minutes of council from February 16th.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have the minutes here, and unless there's any objection, I'm going to make a motion to held on February 16th, 2021, as written, and to dispense with their reading.
Second. Roll call.
Okay, Ms. Bourne,
No.
Mr. Coolman,
Yes.
Ms. Materney,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Van Hoosen,
Yes.
Mr. Weber.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a special report today. We have a representative from the Perrysburg Coalition of Inclusion and Social Justice. I think I've got that right. Thank you. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Jolie Sheffer. I'm the current chair of the Perrysburg Coalition for Inclusion and Social Justice. I'm a Perrysburg resident as well as a faculty member at Bowling Green State University. And I'm here basically just to sort of update all of you on what we've been working on and kind of the progress of the coalition. So as you may know, Mayor Mackin and some other community members began the coalition 2 summers ago now in response to some incidents that happened in our town. And since then, we've really, I think, created quite a remarkable community of folks who are really engaged with educational initiatives, as well as now increasingly this year trying to get more involved in policy to making sure that we are really demonstrating and building the kind of grassroots support for equality, justice, racial equity in town. So we have standing meetings every month that are attended. We've been moved to virtual for as long as everyone else, but we get between 20 and 30 members each month. We now have subcommittees that are focused on key initiatives so that we can broaden our footprint. We've been working with the chief of police on trying to actually analyze some of the data. We've got a group of folks who are attorneys or fellow colleagues at the university with some statistical expertise to actually be able to look at that data and help figure out where and if there are disparities and ways of maybe addressing those. We also have been doing a lot of educational programming as well around understanding racial issues and what does it mean to engage in anti-bias work. From January through May, we're focused on Ibram Kendi's book, Stay Up from the Beginning, the sort of about a kind of looking back at American history since its founding, since before it was a nation, since the early period, and kind of what some of those threads have been around race, anti-racist, assimilationist, and as well as racist beliefs. In our first one in January, we had about 70 participants, most of whom were local, but we did have some folks who found us from around the country. Our second one, we had even more people. Our third one will be in mid-March, and we have more than 120 people signed up. We keep closing it because we're trying to create small group opportunities, but there's clearly a real hunger for structured opportunities to talk and learn about these things and to sort of create a language for coming together as a community and finding solutions. This particular series, we have received continuing education credit from 3 school districts, so we have a lot of educators who are participating in those sessions as an opportunity for continuing professional development in K-12 education. But we also just have a lot of, we have high school students as well, and then just a lot of community folks who are looking for opportunities to gain some more cultural competency in these areas, right? The language and the discourse has changed a lot over time, and it's important to sort of continue to learn how the conversation is shifting, and to sort of be an informed member of the citizenry. So we are also interested in expanding some of our work. We have talked about sort of doing more things with Latinx populations. We regularly at each meeting invite members of other community organizations to come share so we can find opportunities to support each other's work. So, we've had La Conexión come in and speak, the Perrysburg Heights Community Foundation, things like that. Because we really are a community organization that is primarily now focused on issues of racial equity, but we understand social justice to connect with lots of other issues as well. And so we want to be a partner organization in that work.
Why don't you tell people how they can find or get in
Yes.
contact with the coalition?
Yes, so we have a website. It is pcisj.org. And that we now have sort of a broader range of communications than we used to. We also have a Facebook page. We may have some other social media, but Facebook is the dominant one beyond the website. And we have monthly meetings. We also have an email address that you can contact if you want to be added to the mailing list. You can go to the email address to find that, but you can also, it's T, like the PCISJ @gmail.com. Without the T was taken, apparently. So for the email, it's tpcisj@gmail.com. And we, in addition to those monthly meetings via Zoom, we have every other week, in advance of that meeting and then one other time each month, we send out an email that updates on any key events that are happening, readings that members have found useful, things like that. So trying to build a sense of community around social media through email as well, so that we are continuing that conversation between those monthly meetings.
Thank you. Does a council member have any questions? I would just like to thank Jolie and the other members of the coalition. And I often talk about how great Perrysburg is as a community because of involvement and commitment to make it a better place. And this is a great example of that. And I think it's a good opportunity for council members just if you get a chance at least visit them because it's got a lot of good information on it. And I know that I've learned a lot just listening to the members of the coalition talk and their experiences. And I think it's been a real great addition to the community. So unfortunately, it came to be out of a tragic, horrible event. But I think it's really contributed to the dialogue in the community. So thank you very much.
And thank you for the opportunity to share. I do think we're really quite a wonderful mix of folks. We're of all ages, all different professions, folks who are relatively new to Perrysburg, as well as folks who have multiple generations in Perrysburg, folks who have had a history in doing work, as lawyers, as educators, as well as folks who are, come in from a religious background and are interested in healing and things like that. So it really is quite a diverse group of folks, but really coming together with a shared interest in trying to further dialogue and trying to figure out what are some tangible things that we can do and create in our own community to help reduce some of these divisions that we see. So thank you for giving me the opportunity
Sure, you're
to
welcome.
share.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to letters, communication, and citizen concerns. Hearing none, we'll do the administrative reports. I have no real report other than to brag that I attended a public records retention seminar at the Attorney General's office, so I am legit on Ohio Public Records Law. City Administrator,
No report, Your Honor.
Finance Director,
No report either.
Law Director,
No report.
President of Council,
No report, Mayor.
Committee reports.
Finance.
You're up.
Thank you, Mayor. This is Mark Weber speaking. I have no report, but the Finance Committee has not met since the last council meeting where I introduced the ordinance to amend the 2021 budget for the first reading. I know most of the committees now have reviewed it, so tonight, second reading. So, having said that, I would like to introduce ordinance 8-2021 and move that the rules be suspended to allow for its second reading by number and title only.
Second.
Roll call?
Okay, Ms. Bourne,
Yes.
Mr. Coolman,
Yes.
Ms. Materney,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Van Huzen,
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Ordinance number 8, 2021, amending ordinance number 22, 2020, to amend appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures for the year beginning January 1, 2021, and ending December 31, 2021, and declaring an emergency.
Okay, and if there's no further discussion on it, I'd just like to say,
I was hoping to bring something up if you don't mind.
there's,
This is Jonathan Smith. One of the things that unfortunately we always have looking at the budget is our clerk of council and finance director is going to be retiring here. I would like to propose the idea as we're working on the budget of a potential retiree hire at the as the clerk of council at this point. He is based off of our charter is we have the clerk of council that is appointed by council itself. There's money set in the budget for it, and just to separate the two positions moving forward, potentially, as an option. I was hoping to have a discussion on that. I did, and I have here the actual charter code as well as just some ideas on job description on that that I walked through and prepared. It's really not too substantial, but I can pass this up and hopefully see what kind of discussion we can have, because if this is something that we may be doing, we'd have to make that decision here soon. So I'll pass these out real quick, and if anybody has any comments on that, I'd love to hear it.
President Smith, this is Councilwoman Bourne, and I would have to say that I have a lot of respect and for our finance director and Council Dave Krebs, and I'd like to see him stick around.
And this is Barry Van Huzen and President Smith, but just a quick question. I think I heard you say this would not be an adjustment to the budget. This would be,
That would be one of the conversations we would have on most likely specific salary behind it. It'd be a part-time position here moving forward. But looking at what the budget is, there's about the salary for the clerk was 30,000 in, was that 2019, 35 in 2020, and there's 89 in there for 2021, but that's due to a buyout.
Well, and I'd have to explain that my salary, as it stands and has been for many years, is split between the two sections of the budget, if you will, the part under the finance department and part under clerk of council. So what you have seen as expenditures out of that line for the last,
So
many
essentially,
years.
it would be a new cost, because we do need to hire a finance director, and the range for the finance director would essentially be
Be an adjustment.
an adjustment. So there would need to be a new council would be saying, we're gonna spend money that's not currently budgeted.
It's something we can have that discussion as well. I think there's some ideas I potentially may have on that one. And one thing I would like to review if council would like us to really look at this a little further. This is only the second reading, so we still have one more council meeting to fully grasp this as a decision. But I believe that the knowledge that Mr. Krebs has is pretty much second to none when it comes within the city. And that would be very helpful for council, especially with the new council coming up with one of the items on here, to actually have someone do a brief orientation with the council members on the rules of council. That would have been nice for myself the first time I got on, instead of trying to figure it out. And I thought that this would be a way to have someone on staff that would be working for council at this point to help alleviate some of that and help out moving forward with council.
so follow-up question, this is Barry Van Huzen again. So if I understand what we just heard is, then traditionally the finance director is attached to the clerk of courts. I know it is in Perrysburg. Is that typical?
Well, clerk of council, not clerk.
Excuse me. Are they typically tied together in most municipalities?
Answer that.
Sure.
The way the charter used to read was that the director of finance shall also serve as the clerk of council. I think it was 2 charter review commissions ago, it was reworded in the charter to essentially separate the clerk of council from the finance director. I think now technically it says the finance director may serve as the clerk of council. But
This is Bridget Cabot. I think the codified ordinances, 252 point, I can't remember it, Dave, you probably do,
yeah,
for finance director. I think that also talks about that the finance director shall serve as the municipal clerk.
It's actually not shall, it's may.
It's a may.
Yes.
Thank you.
And Jonathan, I don't know, I'm sorry, this is Tim McCarthy. Did you say that there was going to be some thought given to what the finance director's salary would be?
I think we'd have to look at revising quite a bit with the retirement here as well, that position. You have the buyout of or the pay, I shouldn't say buyout, but more of the payout of the unused sick and vacation included within there. And I would love to find out what those numbers would be and what adjustments we might need to make moving forward. But from what I saw on the budget itself, I'm going to pull this back up. I believe there was 62 sitting in there right now. We'll hire was it a separate line item that I saw in there?
Yeah, it's about that. I think but the range though would have to be more aligned to other communities, and I know the personnel committee has just talked about a range for positions. That would be substantially below what would be competitive. So you're going to be, if you were not taking the clerk's salary and combining them to make a number of X, council is going to need to identify new funds for this purpose.
It'd be nice to know exactly what that difference is that we have to look at making up and have that conversation here over the next couple of weeks.
Well, I think some of it is what council would want to pay the clerk.
Yeah.
That's really the soul of what we can hire the new finance director is already going to be in their proper range, but I'm just saying the range will be pretty, not at the high end, but it'll be pretty substantial given what we're paying the assistant finance director. There will be some increase, or if we go outside and hire somebody. But I think the real question is, what does council want to pay a part-time person assigned to council?
And so I did some look at a few different municipalities that I was able to find using the very official Google searches and looking through the ordinances. But the average range is typically an hourly position, and most municipalities do have this as a separate position as part-time. One at the low ends was $12.50 an hour, but the only time that clerk actually shows up is for the council meetings itself. And I don't think that would be appropriate with the job description that we have in place. That was just showing up as a recording secretary, essentially. But the other ones range from about $17 to $22 an hour as a position. And to define it, I guess what the hours would be, we'd have to look through and see how much we'd be having this person or this position available for council. Most likely there's not necessarily going to be an actual dedicated office space within the building for it, as Dave. But it would be more of an availability for questions and just preparing for the meetings just prior to the actual meetings themselves. So kind of figuring out what that would be, I mean, that's something I'm hoping that we can have the discussion on what those numbers would be. I don't have any necessarily in mind, but I could have an hourly range that we could work with and hopefully have a discussion on, which is the range would be 17 to 22 at this point based off.
I think it goes with that. So Corey Coleman speaking, also the chair of the personnel committee. I know there's been some talk at our committee level as we would like some or I personally would like some guidance from the administration across all departments for wage ranges. So if we're going to create a new position, I would like to know what I understand this one's kind of in the purview of council, But along with that, what you're looking for the range to be for the new finance director, along with the scope of duties, if those are going to change. But I think it's a good time to look across all departments and make sure that Perrysburg is in line and competitive across the range of positions we hold. Because I know we want the best in each department that we can get. So I would say let's use this as an opportunity to kind of get guidance on all the departments if we can. And I know we're still waiting on that wage income study, but I was more impressed with what our administration put together in 2 weeks. Anything I've seen from that study, so.
All right. Okay.
I think it's, if we can keep Dave on at some. Unfortunately, involuntary servitude isn't allowed in the United.
And we just learned about that.
Make them stay.
So,
But I think it's just as important to make sure we have a salary for a finance director that's competitive. I mean, as I commented when Jim left council, we've been lucky to have Dave all these years. I mean, you know the books were good. And we all know that's not true in every public jurisdiction. So we sure want to make sure that whoever comes behind Dave in that role is good. Hopefully as good. That may not be possible, but at least close.
So I guess what I would request is if we can to find out what that cost difference is going to be that we have to look up and look into the budget to see what we can do on the clerk salary as well to figure this out, because essentially it's only half a year we have to worry about the clerk salary anyways. At least for this year in 2021, and then 2022 is when we'd be revisiting one more time to make that next step up.
This is Mark Weber. I just want to say this really sounds like a win for everyone involved, because to have someone like Dave, he's at the council's disposal. He's really working for city council then, right? And he can act as a consultant for us and for all matters, financial and otherwise. It's always good to have someone with that kind of knowledge and experience to turn to. So this sounds really like a really good plan.
Homework cut out for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, we want to do this. We only have 2 weeks to get this in.
and on that note, if there are any other changes or recommendations that council would like to consider, I think some that we've already spoken to have been put into the budget already. So I think we've addressed all the council's concerns. So if there's anything else you want to address, please make sure you let the administration know so that we can review it. All right, very good.
The next meeting for the Finance and Economic Development Committee is next Tuesday, March 9th at 5:30 p.m.
Thank you very much. The safety committee?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is Barry Van Huzen, and the Safety Committee meeting was called to order February 23rd at 6 p.m. Committee members present were Deborah Bourne, myself, and Mark Weber. Also present were Keith Sandretto, Law Director, and Tom Nada, Deputy Fire Chief. Minutes were approved without objection, and then permission to purchase turnout gear. The Fire Division requesting the purchase of 10 turnout coats and pants and 12 pairs of boots from Atlantic Emergency Solutions in the amount of $30,170. And this was part of the 21. Mr. Weber asked if this is replacement gear, and Deputy Chief Granada explained that turnout gear has a 10-year lifespan. This gear will replace gear that is currently being used that will be rotated out. We supported this, approved by a 3-0 vote. 2021 budget. We reviewed the proposed changes to the fire budget. There were no major capital purchases that are not on carryover from the budget. She noted that, Ms. Sandredo noted that insurance went up in every department. She also stated that the only new item in this budget is a thermal ID printer, because we have to have the ability to print on both sides of our IDs. Ms. Bourne said that she would like something in the budget to cover COVID leave for the firefighters so that they do not have to use their sick time. Mr. Weber asked if the improvements to Fire Station 38 are going to be done this year. Deputy Chief Granada said that it is currently in design. Ms. Sandretto said if there are any additional questions, to reach out to the administrator or finance director. Under other business, I stated that Ms. Bourne had raised the issue about extra hours to be granted to the firefighters. Mr. Weber said that he is hearing that it is an administrative decision and that there is not a whole lot that city council can do. Ms. Bourne said that she thinks city council can give them the extra hours. She said they protect us, so we should protect them. Mr. Weber agreed and said that if there was something council could do, he would do it. I said that at the committee level, that we could make a recommendation to the administration, but added that the administration makes policy. Josh Amstutz was present and said that he understands the committee does not have the ability to change this policy, but he has gone through the administration channels. He said that all employees have been given 80 hours, give employees 10 days off. But for the firefighters to achieve 10 days off, they need 96 hours. He said that he would like a response as to why they can't have an additional 16 hours per employee. Mr. Weber said that they have that they have gotten the conversation going. The city council and administration are talking about it. We're trying to get it. I would just add that it has been referred to finance as well as personnel due to the additional funding and the additional granting hours. There being no further business, we adjourn at 6:21. Next meeting for the safety committee will be Tuesday, March 23rd at 6 p.m. We do have safety committee does have one resolution, and I would like to introduce Resolution 16, 2021, and move that the rules be suspended to allow for its reading by number and title only, and to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second.
Roll call.
Okay, Ms. Bourne,
Yes.
Mr. Coolman,
Yes.
Ms. McCurdy,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Van Huzen,
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Resolution number 16, 2021, a resolution authorizing a purchase agreement with Atlantic Emergency Solutions Incorporated for purchase of uniform pieces for the Perrysburg Fire Division in an amount not to exceed $30,170 and declaring an emergency.
I move that Resolution 16, 2021 passed as an emergency measure.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Okay, Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mr. Weber,
Yes.
Mr. Coolman,
Yes.
Mr. Van Huzen,
Yes.
Ms. Bourne,
Yes.
Ms. McCurdy,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. I will just point out to all the council members that the administration will be happy to present that information to the Personnel Committee. And also note that it is currently in collective bargaining with the union. So there is some, I will let that be the place where the negotiations occur and not. Recreation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I have no report. Secondly, I have an announcement to make. Henceforth, any items for new business, the new business section of the Recreation Committee agenda, if not reviewed by me as chairwoman at least 24 hours of a regular committee meeting, will be placed on the agenda for the following meeting. Thank you.
Okay. Planning and zoning, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. No report. We meet on March 10, 2021 at 5:30 p.m.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm sorry. Barry had told me, and I told him to remind me, and he's gone on the 10th. How would, I'm looking at this Mary Gill over there. She's always the keeper of our dates. When are you at the following week, Barry?
We'll be back the 16th, yes.
16th,
So
that's
that
a
week-
Monday,
That's a Tuesday? Yes.
Tuesday? Well, we have council that night, right?
Correct. So
Do you want to do it before?
Well, no, Barry is back on the 16th, so we ought to look. How about like the 18th?
Just skip the 17th, I'm just pointing out.
That's a national holiday.
It was a go, I was aware of that.
For anyone named McCarthy, right?
Yeah.
The 18th is a problem for administration. We may be in negotiations that night.
Oh, okay.
Would you,
Um,
would you be opposed to the 25th?
no,
No, it's not. Oh, commission is, not commission.
So that's at 7.
yeah, the 25th, what day of the week is that, Corey?
The Thursday.
So if I don't mind interjecting here real quick, I was gonna be making the request of possibly moving the public utilities. I know I haven't told anybody on this yet, I was gonna bring this up during mine this month as well, because I will be unfortunately out of town during the night that we would normally have the public utilities meeting. And I was gonna see if maybe service can move to if possible. But I just know I'm not gonna be there for the public utilities if you guys wanna try to slide in at that time.
Oh,
It's the 24th.
24th?
Yeah.
Corey, how's that for you?
I'm supposed to be here for service, so I can certainly do it.
Okay.
You don't need to move service.
So what did we come up with? 3:24?
6:30 on the 24th.
Can we do it at 5:30 or?
That's when the service is.
Oh,
But aren't you moving it 'cause
Unless service moves too, but that's, I'm not gonna.
Which it sounds like it might.
You don't have to if you don't want, if Jan would prefer, if Councilwoman Turner would prefer to still hold the meeting at that time, I would be okay with that.
I don't have a preference. When,
Unless you want to push it back to 6:30 for them to slide at 5:30.
when were you gonna propose to have your,
I guess whenever it would be convenient for everyone else. I just know I won't be able to do it that Tuesday through Friday.
I don't have a problem moving mine.
Monday potentially, but I don't know what's going on.
I'm available on Monday, which would be public utility.
On the 22nd, would that be okay for, is there anything on Monday, the 22nd? So 6:30 on the 22nd for public utilities?
Public utilities is 22nd at 6:30, but are we moving service?
Yeah.
So, sir, are we just doing 6:30 the same night then, Jan?
for planning and zoning?
I was gonna,
For,
The service may be on Monday. I don't know if that, if you don't need to move the service for me if that's not going to be recorded.
what do we have on services agenda?
yeah,
As of this point in time, there's one item that is a non-emergency item.
okay, well, we'll,
Just keep it on.
yeah, we'll leave it.
But yeah, alright, so how about we move, you can make 5:30, Tim?
Yeah.
Alright, so we'll do, planning and zoning at 5:30 on the 24th, and then we'll do service as long as that's okay with Jan following that.
Yeah, that's fine.
We're making this really complicated.
I know, I'm like,
Great, put all mine
what am I gonna do, say no?
Okay, that's clear as mud, but I think we have it. So we really should be blaming Barry for reminding you.
All Barry's fault.
That's basically.
End of report.
It's a long report.
Yeah, well,
My checklist personnel.
I believe I made a report last time of this meeting, so I'm gonna kind of skip recapping that same thing. Next meeting will be the 23rd at 5 p.m. Nothing else to report.
Do we have to go into executive session?
Is that? Oh wait, shoot. Do we have?
Three ordinances.
Oh wait, we do have.
I'm assuming we're in executive session.
Yeah. So I'll move that we go into executive session for collective bargaining.
Councilman Smith, a second.
Discussion, roll call.
Okay, Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Coolman,
Yes.
Ms. Materney,
yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Van Huzen,
Yes.
Yes.
We're in executive session. We're going to the
right up.
Personnel. Going down to the basement.
Hence, I'm putting on my coat.
Where'd you hear that? It's true. But, oh. Yep. I contributed.
Sorry, Jay Sheffy, I'm also Sheffer, but it's truncated, it's only by 7 initials. I know. But yeah, no, it's fantastic, Dave, happy to chat more.
John, are you gonna get a shot, or did you already?
I'm going to get a shot. I mean, I had my second shingles shot last Monday. And you have to wait 2 weeks after you do that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I can start next Monday. Actually, it's ironic because Megan found I could have gone tomorrow if I were able to go. I mean, if I were able to.
Right.
She went online and checked Mercy out. But I'm going to do that as soon as I possibly can. I think it'll make a big difference in my current lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, the guy that my wife works with now sent her a text last night because they had just announced it to the 60-year-olds, you know, and then he got on and then she got on last night, and because nobody had really started doing it yet, she was able to get on and get her shot at 4:30 today, so.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I listened to DeWine's press conferences on NPR,
Right.
and it amazes me that they have to convince people to do this.
Well, I know, there's so many people that are so against it, thinking that, I don't know what they think, they're gonna grow a third leg or something weird from it, I don't know. what they
And I think, well, would you rather die? Okay.
Yeah, exactly, you know, it's like.
30 million people have been vaccinated, not been one people have problem.
Yeah, right, you know, so why do they?
That's the biggest clinical trial ever done.
There you go, yeah. I just don't understand why people think somewhere 5 years from now it's gonna affect them somehow weird or something weird. I'm like, I don't get it, you know?
I can guarantee nobody was questioning the polio vaccine.
Well, exactly, right.
People were getting trampled to Goodman. I remember that very well.
Yeah.
I mean that era.
Yeah.
I was a kid in that era.
Okay, yeah.
And polio was looked at as like AIDS, you know, there was no cure, and people were just terrified, you know, to wear a contact.
Yeah.
And I actually was a contact. I didn't get it, but I mean, my friend with whom I'd been playing, you know, going swimming, and you know, we were sharing a snorkel mask and all that kind of thing. And he came down with it, so I was the first degree contact.
Wow. Did they do anything to help?
Well, they had I got a shot. They had a product called gamma globulin.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't know, you know, I was a little kid, so I'm not sure of all the details, but I think it wasn't available to the general population. But I mean, I don't know if it was because it was rare or because it was expensive or whatever, but I remember because it's sort of ironic because I was on my way to summer camp, and you can imagine how welcome I was, because I actually was there, and then they called and said he's the first direct contact.
Oh, geez.
And you know, and so I got my parents said they're going to get me and take me out.
I have to ask my mom a little bit about that because she's a retired microbiologist, so she was into all that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, it was, and adults could get it also. I mean, I knew a man who was basically my parents' generation who got it. You know, and he always had, after, I guess he lived through it. I know he lived through it, but he always seemed to have trouble with walking. I mean, not that he couldn't walk, but it seems like his balance was off.
Right. Huh. Well, I guess everybody always thought that Roosevelt had it, right?
Yeah.
But technically it wasn't that or something that he ended up having, right?
I didn't know that. I just thought poliomyelitis was. I didn't know that it was.
I thought Roosevelt had it. Yeah. But I thought I was watching something on History Channel or something not too long ago. After looking at it, they kind of potentially re-diagnosed it as something else or something. So.
I agree with you. I'm a physician, so
Okay,
an occasional physician who's on, so I'm sure I'm like, are you crazy?
Exactly, right.
500,000.
Yeah.
If there's anything else, we can go crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think that was pretty, just I don't trust them.
Well, and the whole thing of how they were making it a political thing. They
Well,
were always, Trump did it, so it can't be good. You know, it's like, come on. You know, it's like,
Actually, this technology is way safer, big picture than stuff historically.
well, I guess it's like, you know, Trump did it. It's the drug companies who make every other drug that you take that invented it. So it's not like, you know, they couldn't afford to risk having something bad come off of them when they need it. You know, it's like,
No, it did big clinical trial, it was a big trial, so, that's it. But, I think, essentially 0 deaths from the vaccine.
mm-hmm.
And it's really the very many bad reactions, other than occasional allergic, but that doesn't matter.
Right.
What you give somebody.
Do you know off the top of your head what's the Johnson effective? Is it like 60 or 70%?
It's 60-some percent, but that's what you group you look at, but in general, for preventing it, it's 60%.
So it's not quite as high as the other
No,
two.
but I always tell people, I said, look, under best year, flu vaccine is
Exactly.
about 60%.
Right,
On the
right.
best year.
Exactly.
A couple years ago, it was only like 32%.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's only very low. So I said, look, what happens, you get 60% efficacy,
Right.
and you mask and social distance. Guess what happened to the flu this year?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I know there was no flu. Yeah.
I mean, that's the good news.
Yeah.
It's just your priority.
Hey, question.
And the big thing is,
Is there a board out there?
a lot of hospital.
Yeah, I mean, that's really good.
I read the first page of one.
It has.
So if you get a mild dose of it, you get over it, no big deal.
Yeah.
Something that, like, the city over there, it's an ordinance change, I believe.
I mean, yeah, those were the ones that were voted on at the last meeting.
Gotcha.
They're specific
Yeah,
ones.
well, last time-
See if we have one laying around.
Well, I was just curious.
Oh, wait for the next
Something about it.
Well, they had to put that other company.
Yeah, first can help.
Yeah.
I think it's like some kind of vaccine winner thing.
It wouldn't apply to you guys.
Oh, yeah. first.
So that would help a lot, then they'll just
Oh, yeah.
They changed chapter.
crank stuff out so quick.
No, it doesn't cover you guys, you should contract.
But which is great.
And I didn't get a copy of it.
Oh, you know, I don't, you don't have to do that. I just- I wasn't sure if it was
You
like
can't
on the
also
website
do
or.
that,
No, we don't put those on the website.
I think we get anywhere.
We've got, you can
60% of people vaccinated plus
You think that they'll finally get rid of this stuff then, or?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it just depends on the case.
Yeah,
But if you're vaccinated and the cases are relatively low.
that's what I'm saying, if you get up to that 60-70%, that then, you know, and like you're saying, along with the people that have built up their own resistance because they've gotten it already and stuff, so it's like,
My son, he lives in North Dakota, but I said, why? But no. Yeah, he's a master of biologist, so he's up with all this stuff. And he said, there it's really weird because they were so, initially, they had very few cases, they couldn't get anybody engaged to get really serious about it. Then it went crazy, and then it just went crazy. And so their government finally stepped in and said, we got to be made for masking, but anyway. Yeah, and they were very good about vaccinating. They were one of the highest rates in the country as far as get the vaccine out. So he's like, it'd be really a great place to cut their population and be real more
Right.
Yes, so he's like, this would be a great place to study antibodies to see how people have it. And I think he's right. It'd be very interesting to see how many.
Well, I heard the Weiner thing say, which I was kind of wondering, but it sounds like that's how they're gonna go, they're gonna keep kind of going down about 5%.
Yeah.
Or something like that, so.
Yeah, no, it's good they dropped the 60, but that's my wife qualifies. So.
My wife got hers, like I said today, and I technically, I got 5 more years, I'm 55, so I gotta wait till the next batch.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure about it.
Right, we never get in and stuff, yeah.
She's down in Florida at the moment.
Some things are way different in Florida than they are here.
Yeah.
When it comes to, masking and.
Really?
Yeah, it's.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely, we were down there week before last.
People
It's
just don't
definitely it's definitely open for business.
Yeah.
They don't
Although
adhere to any of it,
almost
basically, it's not down there, really.
There's only a few restaurants that want you to have a mask on walking to the door, but.
Really?
Yeah,
But yeah, I was actually almost surprised how many were still. I mean, there were, at least in Sarasota, there was still a fair amount.
Well, right now we're getting into spring break time again, so.
Yeah, that's what's makes me a little nervous. But yeah, as far as, but even though we were done in November too, and yeah, then there were still some bars that were just actual people. But overall, I was almost surprised, at least they said in Sarasota, when you saw the stores, most people were asking, I agree with you, it was any good, but I'm sure it's variable depending on where you're at, but except the Amish, there's a fair amount of Amish that go to Sarasota, or at least part of, they were the ones that weren't asking very consistently.
Well, hey, they not get the shots that year though. That's kind of funny, it's so there.
That's a good question. I don't know what their stance is on that.
Oh, that's out there, against their modern practices type of a thing.
Where they see it.
Well, for a minute, I thought, hey, we're kind of breezing through tonight here, and then all of a sudden. John, did I ever show you this? This is what we heard.
Oh, I think you did show me that. That's really cool. What year is that?
66. It needs a little work to get close on it. There's a few spots that have a little bit of rust and stuff.
Yeah, that's.
But, yeah, but it's crazy. I've talked to a couple guys about repainting it already, and it's like they want $10,000 to paint this thing.
Really, why?
Just because it's all classic and stuff. And what they gotta do, they gotta tear all the, basically.
Oh, you have to do that, something different than that.
Well, they're gonna like tear it all. They're gonna tear all the body parts off of it and stuff instead of just having it sitting in a shop and spraying it or something like that. They're gonna pull all the panels off and everything and stuff.
Wow,
Check for rust.
It's gotta be worth it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why they couldn't do it just like a normal vehicle.
You would think, just tape it off and spray it kind of a thing, so.
Oh, that's a nice car.
I put the other one that I have on Facebook last night. I can't believe it, that people jumping all over it today trying to see if they get in there to trying to buy it from me, so this is my new one.
That's the good change that, to change everything highlighted.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Got 62,000 miles on it, so.
What year is that?
This is an old one. And I got it listed for 11.5 right now. Looks like I might get it listed for 11 from some guys on it, so.
But what year was that? Would that one be?
This one's a 2001.
Oh, so that's more recent.
Yeah, this is a pretty new one. But I'm hoping with me selling this one, I'm gonna take that money and put it into the old one, so.
That's not bad.
Yeah, so.
So, yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice car.
Yeah. It is a little bit of work, but it's kind of funny. I've learned with these old cars like this, it's like they're great if you know how to work on them yourself.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But when you don't, it's like the amount of money you would spend doing it, it kind of gets out of control because you can buy one of these that somebody's already minted out for like $30,000.
Right.
You know, like we already telling him they want 8-9 grand for me just to paint this.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, so you start doing that, you're like going, well, it's like, okay, in the end, if it's cherried it out, it makes it really nice. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but it's more something you just kind of have because it's something you want to have and hang on to. It's not,
Yeah, no, that's a great car.
Yeah, my wife's dad was really kind of into working on cars, and he drove a truck for 60 years. And he has a 57 Chevy that he had too, that he got from Austin Parts, that was basically a friend that built all that together and everything. Nephew ended up getting that car.
Yeah. We get a 67 Thunderbird.
Yeah.
I don't know how old I was at the time, I was just really stupid. You would have had it. Work on it. The life you look back on, but that was really, really young and stupid. Yeah, either one of those two.
But this was a box of just parts sitting there, you have to put the whole thing, it's great, it's everything.
And that was just fun when they had that car, hopefully they had that car show in downtown.
Yeah.
We lived very close, we can walk over there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we spent, started storing, did a 1860 house on right in front street.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I understand restoration.
Yeah. Then the last people that he was driving for was Mandel and Son, they were doing a lot of call high transfers and stuff. So they get retired, they need to know.
Oh, my brother, oh, man.
Yeah, that's what they done.
They paid for the interior to be done on that?
Yeah, they had to pay for
That
that.
oh, beautiful. That red, beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
So pretty.
Well, I don't think they're trying to become a car guy. It's just weird things like with the Mustang, it's still, it's got like manual brakes on it and stuff.
Oh, man.
So it's like, I drove it one time about 10 or so years ago when it was running ticket preparation when my wife was working there at car show and stuff. And I just remember, I know people stopped that thing for the first time and like, oh my gosh, the manual brakes are going, you know? I feel like Freddie Flips, but I gotta put my feet up to stop the car. Yeah, So if I can, I'm gonna try and convert it over from drones to just to make it call. So just be a little bit safer, I think.
Car steering, power brakes, you know. A lot of people take those cars and, you know, they're doing like, they'll put like a fuel injected Coyote motor in.
Yeah, yeah.
You got a whole brand new suspension underneath them, but
Yeah,
pretty much the car looks old, but underneath it's brand new.
yeah, that's what my nephew was telling me about, like, oh, convert it to electronic fuel injection, so it's like $1,000 or something, but then you gotta worry about the fuel tank, you gotta have a concern with the tank, because of injections like that. I'm like,
Yeah, depends on what you're working with it too.
right, right, it's gonna be more of a Sunday drive for ice cream kind of car.
So either way it is, I mean,
Yeah,
is that original paint?
I'm not sure. I'm almost thinking that the guy that had it before him maybe had it painted. Because they've got some spots where like rust is coming through on the paint and stuff, so I'm thinking they didn't want to sand it down good enough before they painted it. So, but that is an additional color.
Okay.
Are you still currently adopted?
That's part of it. Full time with Paramount insurance side.
Oh, okay.
I was in that for 12 years, but I stopped practicing about 7 years.
Oh, okay.
That's a lot of fun.
You look like a GP or?
I was family practice, I was here in town.
Okay.
30 years. Started with Dr. Fraser, well done, me down there, so. Everything 88.
Well, technically, I live in Perrysburg, I live in Montreal, so. Yeah.
Yeah, one day, but it was very interesting, because it really shook out just as almost you'd expect based on the quality of the school.
Yeah.
Everyone agrees with it, nice down, Springfield's goal, not, I mean, it's really interesting.
And we'll see if they do this like the term past, like we get back in this executive session, and basically go, okay, we're done, see you.
I know.
You sit here all this time, and then they come back and just say, see ya.
They do have a couple resolutions, yeah.
Oh, still got a couple things left.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you can hang around. Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah. Then my wife lost it. So after 37 years of marriage, I'm not home and not too early. That's all where you don't.
Yeah.
I can walk. Me too.
We lost a couple.
That was just. Do you know what I found on this?
Pardon me?
That sunshine law training?
Yeah.
It was not part of it.
Right, I was surprised, I read that too.
Cause that was the first time, yeah. First time it came out.
I can't, I don't think. What?
Well, honestly, you got one in it.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna. I was shocked when I read that this time, and I didn't catch that the first time I took the sunshine law.
Yeah. I don't know because working at the state, we look at different things. We're not looking for that type of thing, cause so I didn't notice it.
Sidewalks, the city.
Oh.
You're still recording.
That's a whole nother issue.
Okay. Martini.
I know, that's tough.
Lori, here you come.
Yeah, my voice carries.
You should have a logo.
One of my best straight up.
Just changed my name, they gave you.
Can't keep a secret. Olive would be a good thing.
Some of you guys stayed for the
Cry. Shaking that shirt.
I think we're all here. We need a motion to go back.
So moved. Motion to return from executive session.
Second.
Roll call.
Okay, Ms. Bourne,
Yes.
Coolman,
Yes.
Attorney,
Yes.
McCarthy,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so now that we're back, I would like to introduce ordinance 16, 17, 18, 2021, and move that the rules be suspended to allow for by number of title and dispense with the second and third readings. Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Okay, Ms. Bourne,
Yes.
Coolman,
Yes.
Ms. Attorney,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Van Huzen,
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Ordinance number 16, 2021, authorizing the city of Perrysburg to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association Sergeant's Unit and declaring an emergency. Ordinance number 17, 2021, authorizing the city of Perrysburg to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association Patrol Officers Unit and declaring an emergency. And ordinance number 18, 2021, authorizing the city of Perrysburg to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association Communication Officers, Animal Control Officer, and Records Clerks Unit and declaring an emergency.
I move that ordinances 16, 17, 18, and 2021 be passed as an emergency measure.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Hey, Mr. Attorney.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Weber.
Yes.
Mr. Coolman.
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy.
Yes.
Mr. Van Huzen.
Yes.
Ms. Bourne.
Yes.
Okay, did come to my attention that because we are discussing that potential clerk of council meeting and we're anticipating the amended budget on the 16th for its third reading, we may want to push that scheduled 23rd to before that. So, at Tim and Mark here. I am thinking, would you guys be available on the 11th?
Yes.
How about Thursday, the 11th at 5 p.m.?
Works for me.
Okay.
Okay, so our next personnel meeting will be March 11th at 5 p.m. And I have nothing further.
Very good. Thank you very much. Next, public utilities.
Thank you, Mayor. The meeting was called to order at 6:31 p.m. by Chairman Smith. Present were the attorney, Jonathan Smith and Barry Van Huzen. Also present were Kate Sandretto, Law Director, Alice Gassi, Director of Public Utilities. First item was the approval of minutes, which you can all read there. Next was the sewer credit calculation. Ms. Gunsey provided sewer credits that fell on her approval. I got a typo on there, sorry about that. And that she approved since the last committee meeting. She said that several were due to a backup sump pump, and there were a couple of hoses left on. She reported that year to date, the approved credits are $1,962. Mr. Smith stated the staff has done a good job handling the late billing issues and asked for an update. Ms. Gowsey said the Front Street residents just received their February bills this week, and the staff has reviewed the options for receiving and paying their bill with them. Next item was authorizing the purchase of tapping equipment. Ms. Andreo presented a request to purchase tapping equipment from Powell R. Mole Sales LLC in the amount of $34,171.75. She said that approximately 350 taps are done each year, and the current equipment is beyond its 10-year lifespan. Ms. Andreo stated the new equipment is automated, which will create efficiency and decrease the wear and tear on the equipment as well as the employees. She asked that the legislation be approved as an emergency because the current tap machine is breaking down more frequently, and the last time it took 10 days to get parts to fix it. Mr. Smith asked if these were done solely on the new homes, as there's only so much space left to build new homes to these taps. Ms. Andretto said that she believes the land use plan shows that at the current rate of building, we will reach our borders in 10 years. And Ms. Gatsby also mentioned that this equipment is also used to connections when water lines are replaced in the older sections of the city. The committee agreed 3-0 to recommend approval of the equipment purchases. The next item is review of the 2021 budget amendments. Ms. Andretto stated that in the budget amendment, there are 2 water line projects that were carried over. In the 402 fund, several items were added, replaced 3rd Street sanitary from Locust to Maple, integrated planning for wet weather projects, rehab, the sewer rehab I&I reduction, and additional combined sewer overflow modeling, and SCAD hardware. Smith asked when they would review the water rates. Ms. Gonsi stated that a progress schedule for the following day. Mr. Smith brought up a recent incident in Florida regarding a cybersecurity issue with water supply and asked if there had been any discussions with the regional board about cybersecurity. Ms. Gonsi stated that the city of Toledo has had cybersecurity events in the past. Many of the regional water partners participated. Mr. Smith said that he recalls from his tour of the plant that it takes at least a day for water. Ms. Gonsi added that we also have more than a day supply allocated. Mr. Smith said that he heard there are some issues with additional costs regarding the boring from for the East River Road connection. Ms. Gassi said that she does not have any new estimates, and they will be having a public meeting with the township. Mr. Van Hoosen asked why the water line replacement for 5th and 6th Street alleys was done this last year. Ms. Gassi said it was a budgetary decision. Mr. Van Hoosen also asked about the $300,000 budget for the meters. He asked if we have a meter replacement. Ms. Gassi said that we do not have a fixed schedule for the meter replacement. She said occasionally, and she added that meters for commercial development can be costly, and although they are paid for by the customers, we need to budget the money to pay for the meters. Mr. Van Hoosen asked the family on the State Route 199 water tank will be staying when it gets painted. Have to be painted over, and she is not sure we'll go up there. Mr. Smith said that he'd like City Council to have something time. There being no further business, the meeting adjourned at 6:53 p.m. Next scheduled meeting is actually now Monday, March 22nd at 6:30 p.m. With that being said, I do have a resolution here that I would like to introduce, so I would like to introduce Resolution 17/2021. This will be suspended to allow for its reading by number and title and dispense with the 2nd and 3rd readings.
I second.
Roll call.
Ms. McGowan,
Yes.
Mr. Coolman,
Yes.
Ms. Materney,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Van Hoosen,
Yes.
Mr. Weber.
Yes.
Okay, resolution number 17, 2021. A resolution authorizing a purchase agreement with Powell R. Mole Sales LLC not to exceed $34,121.75 for the purchase of new tapping equipment for the City of Perrysburg Department of Public Utilities and declaring an emergency.
All right, I move that Resolution 17/2021 be passed as an emergency measure.
Discussion. Roll call.
All right, Mr. Van Hoosen,
Yes.
Coolman,
Yes.
Mr. Weber,
Yes.
Ms. Bourne,
Yes.
Ms. Materney,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy. Yes.
And there's no further business, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Service committees.
We did meet, meeting was called to order at 5:30 PM. Attorney, members present were Cora Coleman and Jonathan Smith. Also present were Kate Sandretto, Rob Ross, Water Director and Public Service Director. There being no objections. Other business, Mr. Coleman said he would like to have a statistically validated survey done every 2 years to get citizen input with the budget. For the survey coming from each committee. He asked the administration to see if the group that did the survey, the plan could possibly do it, or there's another company and get a price quote. Budget amendment, Ms. Sandretto reviewed the items that included in the 2021 budget amendment, including additional $25,000 for pavement markers, $100,000 for the sidewalk program, new street sweeper, plow truck, additional dollars for the 25 Preston Parkway intersection improvements, retaining wall on Maumee Western Reserve Road, new gateway signs, multi-use path along State Route 25 from Merchton to DDI, park improvements, and dollars for potential dog park. She said that she spoke to the city's insurer and they're sending out information on it, but to be covered with guidebook. Request to purchase 2 new snow trucks. Ms. Sandretto presented a request to purchase 2 new snow plow trucks. Trucks will be purchased from Rush Trucking Centers. The total price for each truck is $176,114. For a total for the 2 of $352,028.28. The Ms. Sandretto said the funds for one truck had already been approved in the 2021 budget. Funds for the second truck are in the budget amendment. Mr. Ross provided the committee with details about snow plowing. 9 trucks. He says they usually send out 7, but he would like to have 8 routes. There was a brief discussion about snow removal on sidewalks and multi-use paths, and discussion regarding snow removal downtown, possibly the need for snow emergency streets. Committee agreed to recommend the approval of purchasing 2 new plow trucks and related equipment. Lawn treatment. Ms. Sandretto presented a proposed resolution contracted lawn treatment at government buildings. She said the cost is $17,196 per year, but since a total of 3 year contract, 3 years exceeds $25,000, she's asking council for approval. Mr. Ross explained that the contract is for True Green to treat 298 acres and we could not perform the service at that cost. There was some discussion regarding the amount and type of fertilizer to be used and the timing of the treatments, including Mr. Ross said he would check other issues. Committee agreed 3-0 to recommend approval of the contract. Other business, a brief discussion about city having an arborist. Mr. Ross stated that we have one on the street tree commission. We have an employee with 38 years of experience. He said they have talked about in the future bringing a full-time tree landscape person on staff. There's some discussion about the cost of the recycling program. Mr. Smith asked if we're looking to using flashing crosswalk lights at areas other than the fire station on Front Street. Mr. Ross said he's not aware of any. Mr. Coleman said that there had been some talk about crosswalk. He asked if we could do a pedestrian bridge anchored to the overpass on Fort Meigs Road to provide connectivity. Ms. Sandretto said the administration is having a traffic study done for that area. There being no further business, the meeting adjourned at 7:16. I have 2 resolutions to bring to council at this time. I would like to introduce resolution 18-2021 and move that the rules be suspended to allow for its reading by number and title only and dispense with the second reading.
Second.
Roll call.
Okay, Ms. Bourne,
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Materney,
Yes.
Ms. Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Van Hoen,
Yes.
Mr. Weber.
Yes.
Resolution number 18, 2021. Resolution authorizing a purchase agreement with Rush Truck Centers for the purchase of 2 International Model HV 507 2022 plow trucks to the Perrysburg Department of Public Service in an amount not to exceed $168,452.28.
I move that, resolution 18-2021 be passed.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Okay, Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Materney,
Yes.
Ms. Bourne,
Yes.
Mr. Weber,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Mr. Van Hoen.
Yes.
Okay, okay, I have 3 resolutions. I'd like to introduce resolution 19-2021 and move that the rules be suspended to allow for its reading by number and title only and to dispense with the second and third reading.
Second.
Roll call.
Okay, Ms. Bourne,
Yes.
Mr. Coleman,
Yes.
Ms. Materney,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Van Hoen,
Yes.
Mr. Weber.
Yes.
Resolution number 19, 2021. A resolution authorizing a purchase agreement with Henderson Products for the purchase of parts and installation for 2 new plow trucks for the Perrysburg Department of Public Service in an amount not to exceed $183,596. The end.
I move that resolution 19-2020 be passed.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Okay, Mr. Van Hoen,
Yes.
Ms. Materney,
Yes.
Mr. Weber,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Coolman,
Yes.
Ms. Bourne,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy.
Yes.
Thank you.
I would like to introduce resolution 20-2021 and move suspended to allow for its reading by number and title only to the dispense of the second. I can't remember, do I say emergency measure at this one or?
Second.
No.
I think.
You second it?
Roll call.
Okay, Ms. Bourne,
Yes.
Mr. Coolman,
Yes.
Ms. McCartney,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Van Hoen,
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Resolution number 20, 2021, authorizing an agreement with True Green Commercial for lawn services at the City of Perrysburg government buildings for a term of 3 years and an amount not to exceed $51,588 and declaring emergency.
I move that resolution 20-2021 be passed as emergency measure.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Okay, Mr. Weber,
Yes.
Mr. Van Hoen,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
McCarthy,
Yes.
Ms. Materney,
Yes.
Mr. Coolman,
Yes.
Ms. Bourne.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that's all I have.
That's all you got? All right, we know the time. We already went through that. Thank you very much. Any other business to come before council?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I would like to next recreation committee meeting is on March 9th at 6:30.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Any other business?
Jonathan Smith, make a motion to adjourn?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
I was confused.
We're adjourned.
Start this mess?
All right, signing away.
Yes, you did. Shame, shame. The upset.
That
was a tough cut to pay.
Oh, yeah, we don't have another true green discussion.
Yes.
Okay.
And wasn't he back, guys, he was answering questions about what?
Alrighty, thanks.
I'm sure they did.
I was satisfied. That's all I was gonna say in discussion.
I think we're all kind of really.
Well, yeah.
I forgot you were there.
Well,
You
yeah.
said something, that's why I hesitated.
Yeah.
Clothing. We probably.
So I'm assuming it's not phosphorus.
Probably.
Was Bridget?